Imagine that Harry Potter wasn't just 1 million words. Imagine that instead dragons leapt at you, names exploded from goblets, and battles flashed before your eyes. Well, as much as that might seem like fiction, with the Harry Potter interactive and illustrated editions, it is possible. Hey everyone, welcome back to Books with Frank. This video, we're going to be diving into the Harry Potter interactive illustrated editions. However, more focusing on the newer and fourth book, Harry Potter Interactive Illustrated and the Goblet of Fire. My wand I have here was gifted to me by a friend, and it's a collector's wand based on the Goblet of Fire. So, what a great time to take it out right now. Anyway, the effort to create this video is quite humongous, so I'd really appreciate it if you people could simply scroll down and tap the big red subscribe button. It will help me a lot for the channel by giving lots of other people a chance to see these videos, and it will encourage me to create more. Thank you very much. Alright, now let's talk authors. It begins with J.K. Rowling. She was born in 1965, England. She grew up loving fantasy books and wrote Harry Potter in the 1990s while struggling for money and caring for her young daughter. Little did she know that the simple story she wrote in a coffee shop would soon become the best series in history. She's done a little bit of extra writing, and she's also approved of special editions, like the Goblet of Fire Interactive Illustrated. She hasn't drawn any of the pictures though. The illustrating is done by MinaLima. The pair is called Mirofa Mina and Eduardo Lima. Please forgive me if I say the names wrong. My pronunciation might be incorrect. Anyway, they are the graphic designers on the Harry Potter films, creating props like the Marauders map. The style soon became linked to the Wizarding World, and they were asked to design the interactive illustrated editions of the book. When I think about it, Mina and Lima did quite the job creating those graphics. I mean, they had a quite interesting approach, like the Marauders map looked quite realistic. And they took that talent and put it straight into the interactive and illustrated books, creating all these kind of paper engineered features as well. However, they only got to create the first 3 books until Karl James Mountford came along. He was born in Germany and grew up in different parts of the UK. He learned illustrating in uni and soon became known for quirky and colourful artwork. Okay, so what are the interactive and illustrated books? Well, they're like Harry Potter, but with paper engineered features like pull tabs, flaps, fold-outs, and small pop-outs. They are very based on the books with the exact same text, but the illustrations are from the Harry Potter graphic designers. Well, let's just talk about their history. Illustration books from Harry Potter started in 2015. Around the same time came along the interactive illustrated books, and they switched to illustrators on the 4th book. Now, my feelings for Harry Potter began when I was 7. I thought it was quite interesting, I guess, with lots of actions and twists, for example with Professor Quirrell. However, I didn't quite understand it. I mean, I only got to the first 3, and I had to guess most of the words. But then my mum showed me the movie and everything clicked into place. The feeling that I wanted Hagrid to pick me up always remained though, and I guess that encouraged me to try to become my best self. I finished the whole series once I was 9 years old, and I realized, wow, this book was quite powerful. And that brings us to the movies. I feel like it matched the stories pretty well with interesting choices of graphics. Not bad interesting, good interesting. However, I feel like the 7th and 8th movie kind of missed out on some parts of the books or added a little bit more. However, it's still amazing and I've watched it 3 or 4 times, the whole set. So that's just to show how much I love it. Okay, now let's talk about a basic storyline. So, of course, like I said earlier, I only want to do the 4th book because I think, well, newer is always better, right? So it begins with the Quidditch World Cup, where although it seems quite normal, wizards flying all around the place and the balls being launched all across, trying to hit it in the goal, and beaters hitting the bludgers towards player, it's quite the match, with Crumb, the red team's, I'm just going to say, Crumb, the red team's Seeker, catching the snitch, but still behind by 10 points from the Irish team's relentless chaser movement, scoring many goals in succession. However, the real chaos comes after the tournament, when the Dark Mark is thrown into the air. It comes soon after a little bit of an incident with the Death Eaters coming back. And if, in case you didn't know, Death Eaters are Voldemort's followers. They were levitating the Muggles in the air and laughing at them. But when the Dark Mark goes bang in the sky, they all flee. What happened was one of Voldemort's most loyal supporters, who had been sent to Azkaban, had escaped thanks to his father, Barty Crouch, his wife, persuading him to free Barty Crouch Jr., the villain here. He was kept under the Imperius Curse and was forced to hide under a invisibility cloak. But he fought the curse, stole Harry's wand, and bam! The Dark Mark went into the air. He was one of the most loyal Voldemort's followers, let's just say. Later on, he becomes a big role, with him influencing Harry Potter and Voldemort's relationship to the climax. Anyway, in comes along the Triwizard Tournament. It's meant to have 3 people from 3 schools, Hogwarts included. One of them is Crumb, the Seeker, but that's not extremely important. However, what happens was there's 2 Hogwarts people from the Goblet of Fire. The name launched into the air, landing in Dumbledore's hand, reads Harry Potter. What happened was Barty Crouch Jr. pretended to be a teacher due to enter the school, Mad-Eye Moody. He caught the real Mad-Eye Moody, kept him under, let's say, hostage, and then used that to get into the school. He used Polyjuice Potion to pretend to be him, keeping the same appearance, and then put Harry Potter's name as a different school into the Goblet of Fire. And that just shows his plans were quite amazing. Okay, the first plan, dragons. Thanks to Mad-Eye Moody's pushing, Hagrid lets Harry see the dragons before the tournament, giving him an edge and a time to choose a plan. He summons his firebolt using the Accio summoning charm, and then he flies on the broom all around and then skills the dragon, takes the egg, and gets victory. He gets tied first place with Cedric Diggory. The egg then, when it's put in the water, thanks to Mad-Eye Moody telling Cedric Diggory, who told Harry Potter how to solve the task, the egg then tells him the next task. Dobby then gives Harry Potter Gillyweed to help him in the task, which is about to go underwater to save people from the Mer people. But since when did Dobby get Gillyweed? Thanks to, again, Barty Crouch Jr. / Mad-Eye Moody's pushing. He was talking very loudly to Professor McGonagall once Dobby came into the room about wondering if Harry Potter would use gillyweed. Thus, Dobby stole gillyweed from Snape and gave it to Harry. So in Task 2, Harry reaches the people first, but he spends some time to wait for the other people to come, just so they would collect their hostages. When the other person doesn't come, Harry has to take 2 people up, he thinks. Although this made him last to arrive and quite outside the time limit, he's marked high for that, again tying first place. Then came along the third task, the maze. Harry and Cedric Diggory were allowed to go in first because they were tied first at the time. But after a series of challenges, Mad-Eye Moody tried to eliminate Diggory, Crumb, and Fleur, the other school's candidate. He didn't get Cedric Diggory after trying to use Crumb with the Imperious Curse to try to finish him off. Because Harry saved Diggory from Crumb, Diggory was still alive. They reached the cup together, and then they tie. But little did they know that the cup was a portkey. And that takes them to Voldemort himself. Voldemort at the time only was on a frail little body, but he still could use a wand. And bam! Diggory was murdered. Harry Potter's bound up by Wormtail, a follower, and he slashes Harry's skin, gets some blood, and revives Voldemort with it. At the end, Voldemort wants to kill Harry Potter, obviously. I mean, Harry Potter put him through 13 years of torture. Yep, 13. So Voldemort tries to use the killing curse on him in a duel, but with a simple, measly defending Expelliarmus, which is a disarming spell, bam! The wand's connected into a golden thread. Then Voldemort's victims, ghosts, come out of the wand, and they help stun Voldemort so Harry can Accio the cup and grab Cedric Diggory's body and teleport back to Hogwarts. In the end, Mad-Eye Moody, or Barty Crouch Jr., takes Harry Potter, and he wants to murder him in his office without anyone seeing. But little does he know that Dumbledore, Snape, and Professor McGonagall are all following him. Using Truth Potion, they reveal Mad-Eye Moody / Barty Crouch's history. And, well, Barty Crouch Jr. revealed he had killed his father and he had escaped from lots and lots of people, thanks to Voldemort's help and his own evil villainy skills. Okay, so what was good about this book? Well, firstly, illustrations were top tier. Seeing Barty Crouch's face at the end, although it was a little bit creepy, it was very realistic. And with pop-outs like the Goblet of Fire, where you got to twist something and Harry Potter's name came out like a snake and plopped back in, that was quite the great pop-out. I also enjoyed the twists in the story, like when Mad-Eye Moody was actually Barty Crouch Jr. That really surprised me. However, well, firstly, it's a little violent for younger readers. Maybe you should be like me and just read the first 3 before you progress to the 4th book. Let's just say it's a little bit violent, from going to peace for everybody to bam, multiple people dying. But I say it's still quite a good book. However, I do feel like the prologue doesn't quite match with the rest of the story. I mean, it's just Voldemort killing a muggle, but that doesn't quite relate to the rest of the story. I guess the muggle does come out later on, and his name is Frank, like me. Not quite a good thing, but he does come out and helps stun Voldemort. I guess it's a little touch of revenge, but it was still a little bit confusing to see these two match. So my final rating is a 4 out of 5 star review. The illustrations and pop-outs saved it from going down a lot, but the little violency and the not so matching prologue kind of kicked down a few marks. Thanks for watching Books with Frank. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these videos like this one. I'll see you in the next one. Meanwhile, keep waiting and trying your best. Who knows? Maybe Hagrid might bam down your door, walk in, and give you an invitation to become the next Harry Potter.